Now, ECG vending officers this morning choked with anxious customers who have been waiting throughout last week to purchase power. The accused are chaotic scenes and characterizing the stations come on the back of the announcement of the state power distributor that it has resolved systemic challenges preventing customers from accessing electricity credit. Prepaid meter users have for close to over a week been grappling with difficulties to reload their meter because the ECG system had been jammed. We'll be taking you live to some of the vending stations for the latest. But first, speaking to JoyNews' MFA Appel on the probe last night. However, External Communications Manager of ECG, Charles Ayiku, says the company is working hard around the clock to ascertain the cause of the problem.
You know, as a company, or just like other companies, there are challenges with systems. Systems can go down due to the fact that it could not respond. It could be internet connectivity. It could be the fact that we need to update servers and all of that. So it is not an issue of something that happened. You know, we always have monitoring systems for our database systems and our servers. Yes. So we picked that up that Tuesday night, and we've tried to resolve, and it has picked up gradually, and we've made that significant progress.
Okay. Is it not the case of some form of sabotage? You're saying your system was not hacked?
I don't have that information. And as I said in my previous conversation with your radio, I informed them that for every system, when there are issues, you do system audit. And that is what we are doing now, trying to make sure that we audit the system to understand what happened. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we'll come to a conclusion. But for now, our efforts and concentration is to make sure that we get our systems up and running.
And the system audits that you've conducted so far, what was the preliminary findings as to what exactly could have happened? Because I'm not sure you've experienced this before. Since you started or you introduced this prepaid system that we are using, have you experienced anything like this before?
No. And so it was unexpected. Mm-hmm. It was unexpected. And I'm saying that even with preliminary auditing that we've done, we realized that the systems were not responding. We also got some information that especially by third-party vendors, that they were not having connection through the VPN. Yes. So we were able to detect some of them, and then we resolved it. Yes. And as I indicated, I mean, as we progress with system audits, we'll be able to come out clearly. Yes.
Has your system become vulnerable?
Our systems are not vulnerable. Yes, our systems are not vulnerable.
Was it a ransomware attack?
As I indicated earlier, I don't have any information about that. So as we continue with our system audit, whatever is realized. I mean, I've heard all kinds of posts on social media and all kinds. Yes, but I don't have that information, so I cannot speak to that.
So you've seen a post by the ranking member, is the deputy ranking member on the communications committee, Ningo Prampram MP, Sam George. He posted something today on social media, or is it over the weekend? I don't know if you've seen that particular post that Mr. Sam George posted. And amongst others, he raises concerns about some internal cabal that did this at the IT department of your company. You're saying you're unaware of that. Amongst others, they are siphoning some 200 million CDs a month. So that's the post on our screens. And if you permit me, I'll read exactly what he says. He says the challenges with the ECG are extremely serious. The attack on their system was not external, but carried out by a cabal of criminals within the very same organization. The government must, as a matter of urgency, commence a forensic investigation of the IT department of ECG. My information points to a group that has been siphoning over 200 million cedis a month. Yes, you read that right. What we are witnessing is internal power play to cripple the new MD who has dared to open an investigation into these matters. The state security apparatus must with alacrity take this matter up and ensure the safety and protection of the MD and his team seeking to uncover the mess. The rot at ECG will make you sick if you truly love this country, and it is not about politicians here. It is Ghanaian citizens taking advantage of the citizens. We demand swift and immediate action. So that's the post by Mr. Sam George over the weekend on his Facebook page. You're saying nothing of that sort is happening?
Well, I saw that post. It was shared as I sit here, as I am speaking to you now. I don't have any information regarding what the honorable member posted.
Customers have been flooding various vending points to recharge their prepaid meters. My colleague Mamiesi visited the Kaneshie district office and spoke with some customers.
So it's been a roller coaster, especially for domestic people and of course small businesses, especially who haven't had the opportunity to work because they didn't have light. But the situation has been resolved, as the ECG has said, and people are here in their numbers to get power. I'm here with one customer who has just bought power. Mommy.
First, I mean, electricity, no, but 3 days to 4 days, near Nyebi, the connection, all the over, baby, I because we are say light in your home, but me one I mean, your call say, have you know, and see me buy, no, not a catego off kakra, but it's not see be some 30 minutes, and some back, but it's here the echo pa.
It's not only light, no light. I know now the year if you nyaman kwana also usandi ejuma.
Me the year if you nyama me the be ejuma so. They say me wo Ghana School of Law. Me me share canteen en ho nyama na the but be nyina na yenya light but sisi ade yenya light yi dey to me. Me fie nyama bebre say but e be fa na sa.
To me, it's moving fast, but I don't know of tomorrow. I'm in the church when my daughter tell me that, Daddy, it seems the app is on. You get message that at the Avedon, they are working on with the what you call smartphone, smart meter. That's why I have to rush, but dropping to come here fast because I have a lot in my fridges. I'm a chef. I have a lot of things there since 3 days today. In fact, it's not all that fine.
With me, currently my wife is a nursing mother, the fresh baby about 5 months old, and then there is not much heat, but situations of mosquitoes, and then also other stuff. It's really affected us in a way. And when you're at home, the house is boring. You don't have entertainment, like watching some programs on TV, listening to news and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Bubuashi. Yesterday, I sent my boy here the whole day. He came home in the night, so they took his number, and this afternoon they called that the system is working, so we should come. I tried a vendor around my place, but it didn't work, so I had to come here myself too.
When did you try the vendor? This morning?
Just this afternoon. We had a call about an hour ago, and I just tried. But
okay, so then you had to come directly to here and so far, I mean, since when haven't you had lights?
Since Thursday. Yeah, so today I couldn't even go to church.
Are you giving an excuse?
Oh, no. Because
for not going to church because of the lights?
Yeah, my dresses were not ironed, so there was no way.
I hope God doesn't.
Not easy because I have to quickly rush from church and then come and queue and then buy my my electricity.
Let's take you live to the Central Region now to get a sense of the situation there. Richard Kojo is our man on the ground, and he joins with update. Richard, which vending point have you visited so far, and what can you report?
Well, so I've been to the ECG district office here in Cape Coast. I've also been to the office at Elmina, and I can tell you that, well, now the situation is easing up, and it's even eased up. I visited around 8 a.m. and there were no queues, but people have had to grapple with this challenge for the entire week. That was last week, and so it got to a point that it was only the district offices that were selling the prepaid to customers. In fact, there were long winding queues. People had to stay in the queues for hours, but now it's eased up, and so people that usually sell at the prepaid vending point are now selling. So customers are not really going to the stress they went through the whole of last week. And so for the Central Region,
well, so that's Richard Kojo Nyako there. So the situation in Central Region is now more of ease. Let's take you to Kumasi, where Emmanuel Bright Kweku is standing by with update. Ima, where have you been, and what's the situation there?
So, Kojo, I've been to Top High ECG vendor here in the Ashanti region, and there are quite a number of people over there. When you go there, they've been given numbers. So hopefully, if they have access to this electricity, or if they are given the electricity, they will form a queue over there.
Emmanuel. All right, so let's take you back to the Central Region and get a summary of the situation there. We've been told that the situation is calm now. But Kojo, does it mean that if I live anywhere within the Central Region, I can get credit to buy and not necessarily go to the district offices of the ECG?
Yeah, so that was up to the weekend that they resolved the issue. And so this morning when I spoke with the ECG PRO, he told me that apart from the places I have visited, the Cape Coast and the Elmina district offices, other places in the Central Region, the issues have been resolved. And so wherever you are, wherever you stay, at Kotokraba, Brofiedru, and all of that place, you could get credit to buy from the prepaid vending shops.
All right, thank you very much. So now we know the entire update of the Central Region. Let's wrap up from the Ashanti region. Emmanuel, you were telling us the queues that were forming up at some places. Let's hear you. Hello, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, I think your mic is on mute. Kindly unmute it so we can hear what you're telling us.
All right, sure. Is it
okay? It's okay now, yes.
All right, sure. So as I was earlier saying, there are lots of queues at most of the vendors, the ECG vendors. And what they tell me is that they've been there for quite some hours. Some even came as early as 5:30, hoping that they will get electricity. But they've been given queues, they've been given numbers actually, and when the issue is resolved, they will get access to electricity. But what they are particularly worried about is that the ECG earlier indicated that the issue or the challenge has been resolved, yet still, whenever they go to these vendors, they are still not being able to access electricity. So that is what they are particularly worried about. A man also told me that he has killed about 5 cows. He owns a cold store. He has killed about 5 cows, and these cows, after killing them, they are still lying there, and then he's just hoping that they don't get spoiled. He tells me it's about 99,000 Ghana cedis. If it is the electricity doesn't come anytime soon, 9,000 Ghana cedis could be lost as a result of this particular challenge.
All right, Timano, I'm grateful to you. Now, let's come back here to Accra, where my colleague Michael Papani Ashale is back at Aveno for the latest on this. Michael, what's the situation where you are?
So currently, about Aveno, specifically the Accra West region, the ECG vending station here. I must say that the place is crowded with individuals who are here to try to get their prepaid recharged. For many of them, this is not the first place that they have been. They've been trying other vendors, but this seems to be the only place that they have heard that it seems to be working. But I just spoke to some of the people who have been here for as long as 1 hour. They tell me that what they've been only told right now is that the network is down, which seems to be the current that is down at most places now, but the network is down, so they have to wait a little bit before probably get to their 10, whether they can see their chances of whether they're going to be getting prepaid or not. But this seems to be the general situation. A lot of people, and the car park itself is full, and it keeps admitting more people here. Taxis keep arriving by the minute, with some people here to sort out their issues. There are a group of people, I'm not sure on the type of meter that they are using, but there is this small device that they use. Those people are really frustrated. They tell me that they've been looking for prepaid to buy since Wednesday, but today being Monday, put it around 5 days clear. They've been trying to get, but no solution yet to that particular issue. For those who have the, or you previously used to buy via Momo or use just mention the meter number, those people are relatively okay with the process. But for the people that I'm talking about, they use this small calculator-like looking machine to go and load the credit from the ECG vending station. Those people particularly tell me that they've not had any solution yet to the problem that they have.
Wow. So it means that this morning at Aveno, people are still having challenges with getting power.
Yes, they're having some more challenges here. Away from the general issues at Aveno, what the people in the queue tell me is that they've been told that the network is down. They have to give it some more time. So when it comes back online, they will be served.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael Papanida. Now, the ECG is scheduled to brief the press on the latest development later in the day today. We'll bring you that as and when that event comes off. You're also watching Joy News Desk. Now, operatives of the National Security Apparatus have arrested a leader of an Islamic group in Karaga, accused of having links to a jihadist group in Burkina Faso. Imam Sidi Dukure was arrested along with 12 of his followers in a special operation on Saturday evening. Security sources and several members of the group who confirmed the arrest to JoyNews say they have since been moved into custody in Tamale pending investigation. It is still unclear why he was arrested, as the security sources are still tight-lipped. However, this is the second time members of the group and its leader have been arrested by the National Security. Correspondent Elias Tanko reports.
Sheikh Sidi Dukure is a prominent Fulani cleric based in Karga in the northern region, where he is the imam of a mosque he established as a Quranic learning center, where learners from across the neighboring countries come to study the Quran and listen to his preachings. The imam has a love, particularly among members of the Fulani community. However, on Saturday, October 1st, the imam and his group were the target of a national security operation in which he was arrested along with 12 of his followers. The General Secretary of a Fulani warfare group, Tabital Pulaku, Alhaji Yakubu Musa Bari, confirmed the arrest to JoyNews.
Our rep in the northern region called me around 11 something that Sheikh Sidi Dukure has been picked up by some security men.
Alhaji Musa Bari said the reason for his arrest was yet to be ascertained, as the security services were still silent on the operation. However, this is the second time the imam and his followers had been arrested by operatives from the National Security Agency. He was first arrested in 2019 along with 20 of his followers at the same location at Nangong in the Karga town. At the time, the sheikh was accused of having been linked to a jihadist group in Burkina Faso after the Burkinabe army in a firefight killed 5 jihadist militants who had all listed him as their emergency contact in Ghana. The Burkinabe intelligence agencies alerted the Ghanaian government, which arrested him and brought him to Accra for questioning. However, after barely 3 weeks in custody, the sheikh and his followers were all released without any charges against them. Although the reason for this latest arrest is yet to be communicated, Alhaji Musa Bari said his group was awaiting an official statement from the security services, while pledging to support any investigation into the matter.
We know before a national security or the security agencies will come for you, there might be a reason, and then we are waiting to hear the reason why he was picked up.
From Nalergo, Elias Sutanko reporting for Joy News.
Relatedly, businesses evacuating their staff and shutting down operations in Boko as the situation deteriorates. Now, SNET is the latest institution to leave the town, with pensioners having to travel to regional capital Bogatanga to do business. We're live there with an update plus the situation in Boga, where the pressure is now shifting. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNET, has become the latest institution to shut down its operations in Boko in the Upper East region. The move comes as the security situation in the town deteriorates. Boko has been the hotbed of decades-old ethnic conflict between the Mamprisis and the Kusasis and have claimed several lives over the period. Last month, a commercial vehicle came under attack close to the Boko Secondary School, leaving 3 persons dead and 2 others injured. Residents and businesses are unsure when the next attack will take place and are now finding their way out of the town. Last week, the Conference of Heads of Basic Schools in Boko demanded the closure of schools there, citing the recent insecurity. And the National Media Commission issued a statement at the weekend urging the media there not to fan the tensions. Let's take you there now for an update. Abdul Aziz Ayaba is a local journalist joining us with the situation in Boko. Also with us from Boga is Albert Sori, our correspondent in the Upper East region. We'll also be joined in this conversation shortly by security analyst Mutaru Momoni Mukhtar. Let's start with you, Aziz. What's the situation on the ground now?
Boko has been a very calm area for about 2 weeks now.
Aziz, we are finding it difficult in hearing you, so kindly reposition yourself and try to speak up a bit for us.
Okay. All right, so please, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Right, so I was saying good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. Boko this morning has been very calm. It's about 2 weeks barely now that we are enjoying a little bit peace. So if you ask me this morning in Boko, it has been very, very calm.
Now, what's the security situation there? As we've been told that people are moving out of town as a result of that.
First of all, let me just recommend the security in the Boko municipality. They have been doing a very wonderful job ever since these hard times or the conflict broke in November 2021. Security have been very up and doing, and they have been adjusting their work day in, day out. Although we still have some challenges in the town, and we still believe that as a good work of the security, they are still putting more measures to keep things at a good shape. Some of the things I'm talking about is during the cafe hours, whereby criminals will be going around to be breaking stores and then breaking all over things, to be conveyed a lot of properties from people who are even struggling to build up their activities because of the issues. So security has been very tight. When you enter into Boko for the first time, the first thing you will see is an ammo car. You will see soldiers, you will see police patrol, and they are going around all the areas to monitor and see how people are reacting and then to put it in order. So security-wise, it has been very good. But then you're talking about closure, some companies moving out of town. It is true. Ever since the conflict broke, people thought that it would have been a short issue that can be resolved very easy. But it isn't easy like we are seeing it. On Sunday, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Senate packed their goods. It was around 10 a.m. when they brought in a very long, heavy truck to pack all their goods from town. I spoke to the manager of the Senate, and then he actually told me that it has been a very difficult moment because ever since the conflict broke, they have been running and then coming. Anytime there's a gunshot in town, they run. Then they come back to resume work. It has made things very, very difficult. And then thirdly, their security is not safe and it cannot be guaranteed. So what they need to do is they need to pack out of town and leave temporarily so that when come restored in the Boko municipality, they can still come back and do work. So if I ask them, it is true. They have left, and anybody who wants to access it now have to go to the regional capital for any documentation. So basically, it's a very big issue. You know, of late, the heads of basic schools also came out to threaten that they were not going to teach and that they were not even going to school because of the situation. One of the teachers who taught in one of the schools in the municipality was hit by a bullet and he had to lose his life. Others were threatened, and then how to get meat and go to school was a big problem. So when you come to the Kustak traditional area entire, I think it's really affecting a lot. You know, Boku is the capital, so those people around the Zebila, the Garu, the Tempane, the Pusuga, and 8 environs are accessing the municipality. So it has been a very big blow.
How long does it take from there to Bogatanga, where we are told Senate is moving?
Right now we have a very good road. So if you are driving private, you can take about 50 to 60 minutes, then you get to the regional capital. But if you are in a commercial, I think one or two stopping, at least 1 hour, then you drive from Boko to Zebila, Boko to Boga.
Let me bring in Albert. Sorry now. Albert, how's the pressure showing there?
Yes, at the moment, we are not noticing any pressure yet, perhaps because it is still morning on the first day of the week. I've done some checks this morning, and my sources at Senate are saying that usually the expectation would be that people who have inquiries and other things they need to do related to SNED, who were in Boko, will now have to perhaps come to Bolga and seek those services. But as we speak at this moment, it is normal. There isn't pressure seen yet. It is the situation is one of a normal day, a normal Monday as we would normally see. But the pressure could build up as the days go by this week. So we are monitoring the situation to see how it goes.
All right, let's continue monitoring so we can update our listeners. Now, security analyst Mukhtaru Momoni Mukhtar has joined us. Now, how did we get to where we are today?
Hello. Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers and listeners. Well, we all know this is a very prolonged conflict, a conflict that actually today is over 7 decades. And several factors account for the reality of the fact that we have been unsuccessful in terms of resolving the conflict. If you look at the very political nature of the conflict, both parties have used politics as the tool, to perpetrate violence and to ensure continuation of the violence that is going on. If you look at the issues of justice, we haven't been able to ensure the dispensing of justice in dealing with crimes, the murders that have been going on for a very, very long time. We haven't been able to deal with other vulnerability factors in terms of the role of the youth, and more recently, in terms of the use of social media to engage in vengeful, attacks against each other. They are provoking each other on social media with incendiary commentary and videos that ensures continuation of the violence. We haven't been able to ensure kinds of measures that ensure continuation or sustainability of the short-term gains that we make. Very, very, too many times we have had instances where it appears that there is some sort of stability or some sense of understanding that the conflict is coming to, a situation where we can talk about peace building. And yet, soon after that, we see a relapse. And it's because we haven't been very, very deliberate about the measures in terms of how we bring about stability and ensure peaceful resolution of the conflict. And that is why we are seeing what we are seeing now. We just saw a couple of weeks back in a consultation of a high-level delegation visit to the place, and all the stakeholders involved. And this time around, significantly featuring the role of the youth, just like the previous engagements in Tamale. These were great things, and I think that we need to go beyond that and find ways to sustain these engagements. And whilst we are doing this, we ensure some sort of peace-building work, engaging all stakeholders to find a way of bringing stability and engage in meaningful peace-building activities. If we don't do that, we may soon get back to the situation we were just 3 weeks ago.
Is it only about not being deliberate about it, or there are some underlying factors why it has been difficult to address this issue?
Surely, the factors are complex. There isn't one or two factors that are responsible for the conflict. If you look at the foundation of the conflict, is one aspect of it. And if you look at the actors involved and the things we do, there isn't a very coordinated approach and process in dealing with the conflict. We see the role of government, we see the role of civil society, we see the role of religious leaders, and we see the role of individual youth and activists involved in the conflict. We need to have a very, very comprehensive and coordinated approach to dealing with the conflict so that there's some sense of some agency to it. We need to have a structure that says that this is a mandated, structured, and established authority to deal with the conflict. And so all matters relating to the conflict, there is an established agency responsible for dealing with that. We saw, for instance, this morning, I saw a letter by the National Media Commission, and the content has been great. It is not just warning media men and radio stations in the area. They are also offering to help them ensure that they are in compliance with the rules and laws or protocols regarding reporting in conflict situations. This is great. We have seen the role of civil society and traditional leaders and religious leaders in the area who have engaged both parties in terms of the leadership. We have seen them engage youth leaders in the area, and we have seen political leaders do the same thing. And we've seen politicians, individuals engaged in it. And so there isn't a coordinated approach to dealing with it. We need to have that. And beyond that coordinated approach, we need to have a very deliberate process to ensure that these are the milestones we're seeking to achieve. Say in the next 18 months, this is what we're seeking to achieve in the situation in Baku. And then thereafter, these are the things we need to do, and this is the picture we need to see in 2 months, in 2 years in dealing with this process. We don't have that template, and we don't have that process.
All right, Mutaru Momoni Mukhtar, thank you so much for sharing us your ideas and your thoughts on this. Well, the National Media Communication has been cautioning the media against any irresponsible reportage which could worsen the situation. Let's share with you the full detail with you now. Now, according to the Media Commission, the statement in there, they are urging the media to be circumspect on how they cover the situation up there. But we'll shortly share with you the entire detail of that particular statement. The statement says the increase in weaponization of the media in the Boko conflict has become a major source of concern for the National Media Commission. In the past couple of weeks, we have noted an escalation in incidences of hate speech, disinformation, and incitement on radio of a scale and scope that pose a clear and present danger to the Boko community. Some of the cases are closely reminiscent of the egregious misbehavior of radio television Liber de Mal Collins in the Rwandan genocide. As a media regulator, the National Media Commission believes that our collective search for peace must be anchored on a proper balance between the right of a radio station to broadcast and legitimate need of society to protect public order as envisaged under Articles 162, 163, and 164 of the Constitution, 1992. Consequently, the Commission hereby cautions radio stations and their staff that drastic consequences attend on the culpability. We call on owners of radio stations in Boko to adopt stronger gatekeeping measures to ensure that persons with interest in the conflict do not hijack radio stations to foment trouble. Owners must be careful who they recruit as program hosts and which persons are invited as guests on discussion programs. Owners must remember that they bear ultimate responsibility for whatever happens on their networks. Within the next 2 weeks, all owners of radio stations in the Boko area are requested to submit to the Commission clear measures they have put in place to ensure professionalism in their radio stations. The Commission also advises media houses outside Boko to be very circumspect in their coverage of the conflict. Media practitioners must also keep in mind the prosecution of journalists at the International Criminal Court and advise themselves accordingly. The Media Foundation for West Africa and the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association have offered to assist any broadcaster in Boko who may require assistance to review their gatekeeping and professional systems. Now to other stories. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources say the fight against natural resources mismanagement should not be a political stunt. Samuel Abojinapo believes it is wrong to address the issue of exploitation of natural resources at the play of party politics. He made these comments at the 40th anniversary celebration of the Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
The minister noted that the perpetrators of illegal mining are known by authorities and thus called for a collaborative effort to ensure that natural resources are safeguarded.
All these efforts we are making will not be enough without the support of all of us. We will not make headway if natural resource managers, forest managers, range managers, silviculturists, security personnel, and other professionals connive with the very people against whom they are to enforce government's policies and laws. We cannot come to grips with these issues if they continue to be politicized and exploited by political parties for their personal gains. Nana Chair, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot be right in the face of all of these challenges for opposition political party leaders to say, and I quote, "If you vote us into power, we will release all jailed illegal miners and allow you to mine," end quote. Likewise, it cannot be right if ruling party leaders put their political or economic fortunes ahead of this fight. This fight must be above partisan politics. It must be a national fight. And it requires all of us, our collective effort, to win this noble struggle of ours.
The 40th anniversary celebration of the Faculty of Renewable and Natural Resources KNUST seeks to highlight the impact of the faculty in solving global and Ghana's natural resources challenges. The anniversary was themed Faculty of Natural and Renewable Resources, 40 years of training natural resource managers, a new age for a new focus. Mr. Jinapo entreated the faculty to add its voice to the fight against resource exploitation.
The role of academia and natural resource managers in this regard is crucial. You must come up with solutions that address contemporary challenges in the management of natural resources. Several reports, at least in the past decade, points to natural resource shortages. When you tune in your radio in the morning, people are concerned, and genuinely so, about the destruction of our river bodies, lands, and forests. We must hear your voices on these existential challenges confronting our country. We need independent, authoritative, and strong moral voices such as yours. As natural resource managers, you must provide strategic and managerial insights into these conversations and debates. What is the Ghanaian attitude towards conservation and preservation of the nation's resources for the next generation? How does that feed into the broader policy of a responsible and sustainable management of our natural resources? How can we reorient our citizens to buy into the broader policy of preserving our environment and natural resources?
The faculty has churned out over 6,000 since 1982. It currently has nearly 3,000 students, with 72 graduate students enrolled. The Dean, Professor Emmanuel Dankwa.
It is sad to know that despite the increasing number of students in the faculty has very limited resources. One part of our training is practical demonstration. It's sad to know that we have only 2 buses, and those 2 buses are worn out. We can no longer take students to the places that we decide to take, remote areas, to learn really firsthand what is happening.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
Make a date with us tonight at 8:30 p.m. on the JoyNews channel. We are on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144, and on your digital television set because we are free to air. You can also follow the live stream on YouTube, Facebook, and on myjoyonline.com for the full documentary. Don't miss it. We'll take a quick break here on News Desk.
It's time for business. My name is Pakwesi Shandorf. Now, the German Agency for International Cooperation, GIZ, is called for capacity building and the development of required skill sets to harness the opportunities in the e-commerce ecosystem. Center at GIZ Emmanuel Mumuni, if the country is able to develop the right expertise, Ghana can harness many benefits from the e-commerce space. He has been speaking at the National E-Commerce Forum and Exhibition organized by GIZ.
The National E-Commerce Forum and Exhibition is a platform put together by GIZ to deliberate on how to build a solid e-commerce framework for Africa. Speaking at the event, the Senior National Coordinator of the Digital Transformation Center at GIZ, Emmanuel Mumuni, called for deliberate policy and capacity building to help small businesses in harnessing the full potential of the e-commerce space. He mentioned that, though a lot of SMEs trade online, there is more to be done in terms of skills development to assist small businesses enjoy the full potential of the e-commerce space.
E-commerce is an area, it's a very technical area, and for you to fully participate in it, you need the right skills to practice. And even though there are lots of young people or SMEs that are trying e-commerce, they do not have all the skills in the world to excel in it. And so one of the things that the project is doing is to build a capacity of SMEs in that area, that they are taking advantage of e-commerce as a revenue channel to build new revenue streams for themselves and to grow their businesses forward. So I think one of the main challenges for us is the skills. Another one is on the policy, and we're working with government for the very first national e-commerce strategy, that the policies are not exactly speaking to the needs of SMEs in the country. And so with an improved policy ecosystem, it improves the chances of SMEs to get to the other side of the line, to get to profitability, and to also grow their businesses much bigger.
Speaking on government's contribution in building a solid ecosystem, the head of technical services at the National Information Technology Agency, Solomon Richardson, said government in collaboration with the private sector is putting up the needed infrastructure and resources which will aid the smooth running of the country's digital transformation agenda.
As at now, government is pushing very hard to make sure that every part of the country is covered in terms of connectivity. So apart from what the telcos are doing to do connectivity, government through GIFEC has also launched the Rural Telephony Project. So the Rural Telephony Project is taking connectivity to where the telcos think is not profitable enough, and so they don't want to make the needed investment. Government is investing in that area and making it as a shared resource for all the telcos.
Away from that, farmers and manufacturers in the Bono region say with the right support, they will be able to expand and add more value to their yields to meet both local and international markets and also create more jobs for the teeming youth. Speaking at the second edition of the 2022 Agricultural Fair in Sunyani, they expressed confidence that support from the government and the financial sector or investors will also enable them to market and promote their products. Precious Semefo has more in the following report.
The second Bono Regional Agricultural Fair in Sunyani is themed promoting market linkages through agricultural fairs. The three-day fair is one of the strategies to accelerate efforts to modernize and transform the agenda for agriculture by bringing stakeholders along the agricultural value chain together. Dennis Abugri Amenga is the Bono Regional Director of Agriculture.
Potentially, this fair provides a signal platform for the major stakeholders in the agriculture sector, provide opportunity for agribusinesses to identify and network with potential clients, promote technologies helpful in increasing farm-related income, and provide updated information to industry players in the agriculture sector.
Ahead of opening the fair, Bono Regional Minister Justina Osu-Banahene said she anticipates the exhibitions at the fair to clear the youth's misconceptions about the agricultural sector.
The Regional Agricultural Fair is organized to showcase modern form of agriculture and clear the misconception of the youth about same as a poverty-oriented enterprise, and to equally to draw on their commitment to enter into the enterprise. I wish to use this platform to make a clear call on our learning youth to take advantage of the various policies and programs rolled out by the government to enter into agriculture to better their future.
That's all for Business on News. Next up, next is sports.